Let's go, bro. I feel like it's been so long since I've been on live. I'm happy to
That's
be
a
back, man.
fact.
I'm happy to be back. Yo, today we got special, special guests. My guy Nikki Vlay, Nikki Vlay, the closer. We here today to break down the most recent deal that we just bought. Nick locked it up. Seller finance, 0% interest. We have so many people today that are just scared about what's going on with the market, right? They're scared with about interest rates. They're scared to buy because interest rates are so high, and there's a lot of fear going on in the market. We're showing how we literally don't care about that, right? Like we're going to continue to buy properties at a massive rate because we don't.
Did
Come
that
on,
work?
come on. We don't care about the market interest rate, right? We're taking over mortgages from 2 3 years ago, and we're doing deals like this where it's straight seller finance, 0% interest. So I'll talk a bit about where we got this lead from. This was from a JV partner, um, with Angel. Sent this over, a sub 2 student, right? He sent it over. He had no clue what to do with it. This was a seller. She was actually a first sale by owner, and he really didn't know what he was doing with it. He sent it to us. He's like, "Yo, Daryl, I trust your team to close it." We passed it on. One of our closers set an appointment for Nick. Nick got on the phone with the seller, and he solved her problem. Right. So, Nick, you want to talk a little bit about what Carol's problem was, how we solved it, and how this process was going, how this process went overall? You're muted too, by the way.
There we go. Yeah, bro. So basically, I mean, FISBO, for anyone that doesn't know, is that's for sale by owner, right? So there's no excuse for anyone to not find a property. You can find this on Zillow, right? You don't need anything crazy. You can look at for sale by owners. A lot of them, they just want their price, right? And you can find these leads, right? You can find this. So what we did with Carol is Carol took me to close. It was, I want to say it was around like 2 months, right? And this, I appreciate that. You can hear two audios right now, Andrew, as I'm talking, but it's probably coming on through your laptop. But so what we did with Carol is, she had 4 properties and she was a tired landlord. So I had to keep hounding her, right? It's tricky because, and I recommend this for another deal we're doing right now is when they have 4 properties, you really got to focus on one, right? Focus on one to start and figure out if, the terms are going to work in general, right? Thank you, my boy, Drew. Hope you feel better. But so she had a couple properties. She was a retired landlord and she couldn't sell these properties. They were on the market for a while. So originally, I had pitched seller finance to her. And that is when, we come in, we give her a down payment and we continue to give her monthly payments until we pay off the property. And that just fit for her, right? That fit for her because she was going to use this money for retirement to begin with. And she was a landlord. She gets all the benefits of being a landlord without actually having to fix toilets, without having to fix the fan or get calls from other people. So that was amazing. And the next step was, getting those terms. So, I mean, Daryl, when I started, I didn't really know, what would be a good deal. So can you maybe, educate them on what is something as a seller finance deal that you would buy?
Yeah, well, let's talk about. Well, she was actually asking for some crazy. I remember she was asking for some crazy payments at first. Do you remember what they were?
Yeah, I mean, she was asking for like 8% interest, right? She was asking for some crazy amount, like interest that messes up the cash flow, right? So if the cash flow is destroyed, we can't buy a deal on terms. That's our primary goal. So what I did there, and this is a pro tip from Sniper Acquisitions I learned from Daryl. Um, they can't hear you on IG, by the way, but
Yeah.
we'll figure it out. This is a ghetto stream. We're doing it though. We're taking action, guys. The whole thing is going to be on Daryl's channel. It's on our story, so just check that out, and that'll probably be the best version on his YouTube. So it was 8% interest, right? So the tip I got from Daryl is, typically we like to add our interest rate into the purchase price. I'm not going to give you all the sauce He has a course where he talks about everything there, but we add the interest rate into the purchase price. So we upped the purchase price to get it at 0% interest. And, from there, we had to go back and forth on down payment. And I mean, is there something specific that we also had to fight with her on?
No, I think I recall her asking for a pretty big down payment as well. But the big thing was the interest, right? From 8% interest to 0% interest. One, as a buyer, that automatically gets me interested, right? Like the terms don't even need to be the best at point. I'm pretty much getting free money for the next 5 years, right? It's the way I'm looking at it is I got $220,000. That's the purchase price for free for the next 5 years. Of course, I'm making payments on it, but I'm not paying any interest on this, right? The down payment was only $10,000, and we're paying her $700 a month, right? So first, I wanted to make sure that I could cash flow. Let me see. I hope they don't get double feedback right now. You may need to mute yourself on Instagram right now. But the first thing that I check for when buying a property on seller finance or creative um, is it going to rent as a traditional rental, right? Is it going to rent as a traditional rental first? Yes, it does, right? I believe the rent rate is around $1,800 to $2,000. Our monthly payment to the seller is only $700 a month, right? $700 a month. We have to pay taxes and insurance, which is going to bring it to around like $950 to $1,000 a month. So right then and there, I cash flow. Boom. Now I'm in a mode right now where I want to buy a lot of Airbnbs, right? So that's the second thing I check for. If it's going to be a traditional traditional rental, most likely I may sell it, right? You'll see there's a lot that we have under contract right now that are really good deals that I'm just not keeping just because it doesn't fit what I'm looking for, but it will work as a traditional rental, right? Now, this one in particular, this works as a Airbnb as well. It's not too far from Texas A&M University. There's a lot of Airbnbs in the area that are going for a good rate, right? And I should be netting around $1,500 a month every single month after this property is renovated and upgraded. I'm actually waiting on a call from the contractor today to give me the bid on what work I'm going to need to do, how much work I'm going to need to do. And it's just a learning experience, right? Because this is my first rental as well, right? And I was talking to somebody today, and they're like, you need to treat your rental business as just like a separate business, right? Like, and that's where I was messing up. I'm just like, okay, this is a house that I just bought. Like, I'm just getting to it as I could, right? I haven't set up any systems, processes, anything like that yet in regarding a rental property. You know what I'm saying? So it's a learning process for me as well. But to answer your question, Nick, what I look for is first, does this cash flow as a traditional rental? Yes. Okay. Second, this is 0% interest, right? It's a no-brainer, free money, right? And then three, can I make this an Airbnb? Perfect, right? This is a deal for me. I'm going to take this down, right? So, Nick, do you actually know how many times we as a team spoke to Carol?
I do, because you told me, and I got some questions for you after, but I think it was around 12.
Nah, it's higher.
It's higher. How many times did I speak to her?
It's higher. Well, 12 to get the contract. 12 to get the contract, but 17 times in total. Because she wasn't the easiest seller after we got the contract as well. She was asking for a whole bunch of extra stuff. But we spoke to her as a team 17 times, and that's not even counting the conversations that poor Kelly had with her
Yeah.
coordinator, right? She was chewing Kelly out, right?
Mm.
The great thing about this is I spoke to Carol one time, and that's after we bought the property. I just called her to figure out where am I sending this check and and where the keys at, right? So that was the really cool thing about this is that I did not have to talk to the seller not one time. Byron, she was fully committed. So her issue was we had told her that we will pre-sign the deed in lieu of foreclosure to if we were ever to miss a payment, right, she'd get the property deeded right back to her. Now the issue with that was the attorney that we were using, they didn't want to, they didn't feel like they should abide by that, right? They didn't feel comfortable using that in their paperwork, and we had to go back and tell her that we can't do that, right? Like we had to literally just make her a late payment, and it's something that we didn't agree to, right? So I understand her side of things, but she had to understand ours as well, and we ended up figuring it out moving forward. Um, so yeah,
Really quick, bro. Like I don't want to go too far back. What up, Alexis? How you doing? Kamal asked what was her pain point, and I mean the thing is this property was vacant, right? So she was making these payments every single month for a good amount of time. It was on the market for I think over 100 days, right? So she's spending unnecessary money. Meanwhile, she's trying to save money. So she said to me verbatim, guys, she was like, in a positive way, right? In the most positive way possible. She was like, "You're just wearing me down. Like you were just so persistent, right?" And I knew right there is when we had her. That was exciting. So Daryl, I mean, you locked up a property, right? Your company locked up a property, and you got in the deal, you know, with 20,000 or less, and you paid your own company for this deal. How does that even make sense?
So I actually got paid about $5,000 to buy this house in my pocket, right? Because you got paid on that as well, right? So what we did was we bought it in one LLC, right? We assigned it we got it under contract in our wholesale LLC, and we assigned it to my buy and hold LLC, the one that I'm going to keep it as an Airbnb, right? So if I'm assigning something, I need to pay myself. That's why we're saying it's two separate businesses, right? The rental business and the wholesale business, they're separate, right? So I need to literally pay myself. Need to pay myself to buy this property, right? So I'm literally raising enough money to pay myself an assignment fee. I have to pay my team. They have to eat as well. Because like I said, I didn't speak to the seller one time, right? So my team needs to eat. The conveyor belt needs to continue to run and get more deals so we can move on to the next one and buy more rentals. So heck yeah, bro. And not to move past what you just said, bro. That's like music to an acquisitions manager's ears, right? When you have a seller say that, you know, you were just so damn persistent that I had to sell to you, right? And that's big. That's big, right? That means one, you're not taking no for an answer, because I'm sure she told you no so many times before she told you yes, right? Literally, we spoke to her 17 times.
Dude, there were so many times where you thought you had it, and then it would all crumble for me. And she was like, it's not getting anywhere. It's not good. And when I made that closing call, guys, I was not anticipating on sending a contract that day. And that's why it's so important to follow up, because you just never know. You don't want to put these thoughts in your head as to, this one's going to be hard. I had a red seller blow up on me one day. 30,000 down, blah, 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 blah. Hung up. Next time I call him, he's chill. He's a CPA, and we're going to get that one locked up tomorrow over in Georgia. So the power's in the follow-up. And, I mean, so talk to me. You haven't gotten the systems yet in place, but what does that look like for your cash flow? Can you explain that to someone that's never bought a creative deal and that's interested in buying one?
When you say, what does that do for my cash flow? What do you mean? Like,
so you buy a property creative, right? And I know our main goal here is our cash on cash return, but you said the monthly payments were what?
Monthly payments to the seller in total PITI is, let's just say $1,000. It's $1,000 a month after I pay taxes and insurance.
So that's our payment to Carol. That's the taxes and insurance that we're going to pay. And then What did you say you can rent it for?
So on Airbnb, this is gonna net, like in my pocket after we pay all expenses, $1,500 a month. It's gonna gross around like 3,500 to 4,000, and that's being conservative. That's being pretty conservative, right? So what we're gonna do is, and I'm really big on outsourcing. Nick, you know this, right? I talk about this a lot, right? Like I even outsourced to get this lead, right? I didn't pay for this lead. This was a free lead, right? So I leveraged somebody else's marketing efforts, right, to bring me a lead, bring us a lead that we can close, right? So I'm not gonna sit here and run an Airbnb operation, fly back and forth to Brian, make sure the property set up and designed nicely. No, I partnered with somebody who does Airbnbs. They have 14, 15 Airbnbs, and they're doing this on a regular basis, right? So I'm going to use their expertise, and they're going to do it, right? I'm going to cut up the pie. I'm going to take a piece of the pie. You know what I'm saying?
Bro, I think that's like the most important part about this whole live stream right now. And when people get into this, it's exciting. You see everyone's assignments. They're making 5 figures. They're making 6 figures on a wholesale deal. But when you start to spread this out and you become a go-giver, you don't need to do everything by yourself. It's going to be a lot harder. There we go. Who, not how. It's going to be a lot harder to do that all by yourself when you can just, okay, I know a guy over here that has the systems in place and they could get it popping, and I can keep doing what I have to do with my mission and get another Airbnb.
Yep.
Isn't that close to Texas A&M?
It's real close to Texas A&M, bro. And I mean, that's one thing that I've had to learn, right? That's one of the biggest lessons that I've learned these past 2 years is outsource, bro. Who, not how, like Maz just said, right? When I first started, and it's funny to think about it now because over half of my business, like Nick, I don't know if you noticed, we have a lot of freaking deals locked up right now. We have like 13, 14 deals locked up right now, and they're all from JV, literally, right? And it's funny to think about it. When I very first started, I remember this vividly. Second deal I've ever had locked up, I'm like probably like 2 weeks out from needing to cancel this contract or find a buyer, right? And I don't know what the hell I'm doing, right? I find somebody who, she's a dispo wholesaler. And it's funny because she's actually in sub 2 now, right? And she's a dispo wholesaler, right? She has buyers all day, right? She reached out to me. She said, hey, I have a buyer for this deal, but we would have to split it 50-50. I was so ignorant. I was like, what do you mean 50-50? Like, I found this deal. I did all the work. Why would I give you 50% of my deal? You did the easy part. You found the buyer, right? I was so naive. And I walked away from that, right? I let it go a week later. Like, a week later, I'm like, all right, shit. Let me hit her back, right? 50% I'd rather have 50% of something than nothing. You know what I'm saying? So I hit her back up. She's like, okay, I thought you would never respond, blah, blah, blah. Get an extension. I'm like, all right, cool. I had no clue how, like, this property was under contract by, property was actually under contract by Olu before. My boy Olu, he had it under contract. A couple other people had it under contract. It kept closing, right? They kept falling through. She ends up finding a buyer, and we make like $18,000. I get a check for $9,000, my second deal ever. You know what I'm saying? So, like, it's funny to think now, like, I would never, and when I first started, I was like, why the hell would I ever JV? Now, everything I do is with somebody else. Everything. It's not fun by yourself. It's not fun. It's so much more stressful. Lean on other people. Find people who do things better than you. And once you're able to learn that, right, learn this skill, then you can keep it in-house, right? Like, I outsource dispo mainly now, right? And now I'm starting to bring some in-house dispo people on the team now because I bought, like Alexa said, I bought my time back, right? Like, I don't have to sit on the phone and close deals all day now. That's what Nick's there for. That's what Andrew's there for. Edith, Femi. I got some freaking closers on my team that are locking deals up all day, right? So now I can raise private money. I can do dispo, and to show gratitude for my team, it's like I do things. And Nick, I still owe you an Airbnb, like doing things like that, like bringing you guys on the shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I literally owe you an Airbnb, so I might as well bring you on this Texas one because that Atlanta one is taking forever. So, executive decision. Congrats on your Airbnb, dog.
Let's go. Let's get some hype in the chat. Let's go. Hell yeah. Nah, I appreciate that, bro. And that's what this is about, right? It's just about working together. And I think a lot of people in general, they think when you join this stuff is like, it's going to be very strict and very serious. But when you find the right people, right, you can also have fun while making calls, guys. Like that's normal, right? I do I like all the calls I make all the time? No, but do I like the people that I'm surrounded with in the Zoom every single day? Yes, and that's why I continue to do it each and every day, because if I'm not there, I know they're working their ass off in there, and I'm doing them a disservice, right? So
For sure.
it's a blessing, man. I mean, is there anything else that we'd want to touch on about this?
Not really about the deal, but my bad, hung. They said they're echoing on your side a bit, Nick. I think it's because I wasn't muted. That's me. Um, but I do want to talk about kind of because we were just talking about this on in the nightly dial, literally like 30 minutes ago when I was just in there, um, and just like having fun with when you're on the calls, right, and like not being worried about messing up, right. Can you talk about that, Nick? How like when you first started, right? Were you good on the phones, or was I getting mad when you were like messing up, or like how did that process go like as you were growing?
So you weren't getting mad at me that I was messing up, and it's weird because when you join the job, you think everyone's looking at your back to see if you are messing up, and you don't want to make any mistakes, right? You want to stay there. But no, you weren't. You weren't upset. You're actually encouraging me to mess up. The first question was, I like to say thanks for the congratulations, you guys. Shout out to Harvey. We've JV'd with Harvey countless of times. I can't
You
even.
just locked up a deal for Harvey, bro. You just locked up a deal for Harvey. Let's get it.
Yeah, and you're buying it. So yeah, we all fucking had a huge play in that. Tyler, we said we got a huge echo. Guys, Daryl's doing a YouTube live right now. It's on our stories. Peace out, home. We got to chat for sure. But yeah, I mean, I like to say I was good on the phones, but I wasn't, guys. Like I'd like to think I was good, but I had to use a script when I first started, right? I didn't know what to say. I had Pace's script up on my other monitor. I was checking it out and probably sounding mad robotic. So, but I noticed, and especially today, I think Daryl joined when I started making some calls to people, is like when you don't take this too seriously and you're living your life as an entrepreneur and you're doing a lot of things, you're building up your confidence. I'm building up my confidence in so many other areas of my life right now. Is when I get on the phones and I'm talking to someone that's not even in the room, like I have the utmost confidence because I have conviction that I'm going to help these people. Started from the script and now we here. I love that. I love that. But I mean, that just goes to show you that, if you stay consistent in this and you surround yourself with the right people, all of that will come.
It's huge, bro. It's huge. So like I just want people who are listening, right? If you're newer and you're just getting started, do not get discouraged if you don't have a deal yet, or if you're making calls and you're getting hung up on. Like it's part of the process. We all sucked when we first started. I got cursed out so many times, but it's not it's not about it's about how you react, right? Like you got to dust yourself off and get on the next call, right? Play a game with yourself. I used to tell myself the more times I get cursed out, the closer I am to actually getting the deal, right? So just keep that in mind, right? Keep that in mind. You're gonna mess up. That's how you're gonna learn. I've learned the most lessons from messing up, from me making mistakes, and coming to somebody who is at a higher level than me and saying, "Hey, how do I fix this?" Right? Like people like Mamadou, like Pace, like Olu, like there's so many people, right? That I will come to, that like Tyler in here, like I'll come to and ask them for some advice, see what they're doing differently, right? So find you a community and just take massive action, massive action.
Yeah, I mean, shout out to AJ because he just takes massive action. Like I remember when he first saw your training course, and then he's just like, I kept seeing his face. I kept seeing his face, and then I'm like, yo, this guy's amazing. Like this dude is the best. So I mean, anyone that could join here and just like start to take massive action, you have everyone that knows the stuff that you might not know in your back pocket, right? And if you come out with an open heart, they have an open heart too, and they're more than happy to help. Right. There's enough for everyone to eat. And, don't be afraid to reach out to anyone in the community. Alexis, another heavy hitter. Tyler, heavy hitters. Daryl, heavy hitters in the community, guys. So definitely reach out.
Real quick, one more thing before we bounce, bro. I just want to talk about like why we're in this business, bro. And we had a really good example of that right before we actually got on here. Do you want to talk about like how that just went? Your call with Kay Ellen, the one we just locked up.
Yeah, man. I mean, before, right, I'll do a little selfish plug and just tell everyone to like the video. We're at 7 likes now. Let's see if we can get to 14, double that really quick. But yeah, I just got off a conversation with Kay Ellen. She's actually in Tampa, so we were checking in on our Tampa leads. Not even really just talking about the property. Just wanted to make sure everybody's safe. So this was a deal that we had locked up last week. She isn't all the way there, but she's a very sweet lady. And it's crazy too, right? Because when you're looking to me and like this is something that's actually affecting me, right? Like this is something that we do in our business. We connect with other people through the microphone. So, with her family has kind of been all over her, pushing her in directions that she doesn't want to go. And the agent was supposed to have this house listed and had her best interest in mind and hasn't even listed the damn thing. And she loves seller finance. She loved the fact that she could get more money over time. She loved that she would get a monthly payment from us because she spends a lot of it, right? If she had it all at once. And she, just needed some guidance. And it was like a 50-minute call, but we took her through the contract. I took her through the contract with everyone in the Zoom beside me. And, we locked it up. And, I called her today to check in on her to see, how she's doing. And I got to remember what she said. What did she say? Like, you just brightened up my day?
Yeah, she just said, just talking about how grateful she is for you and how happy you made her for making this an easy transaction and just solving her problem. Right. And I told Nick, like, yo, we need to clip that up and play that for the team. Listen to that on a regular basis, because that's why we're in this business. Right. When you're on the phone with these sellers, we're solving problems. Right. These creative deals, they sound really cool. They sound like this is something that you want to do on every single deal. No, this is something that solves somebody's specific problem. Every creative deal we've ever done, you can ask us what the problem was, and we can tell you. Right? That's how it's supposed to be, because the offer that you put out, it's supposed to be a solution to this person's problem. Right? So search for the problems. As Pace would say, look for the bunnies. Search for the bunnies. Right? Find those bunnies, and you'll find the deal. It's going to be a good deal. Right? So that's what we're in it for.
That's the why, bro. I mean, we killed it today. It was a little ratchet, but guys, if you like this, we got a question we can answer after this. But if you guys like this, I need you to spam Daryl's Instagram and tell him to consistently goddamn post. Tell him to get back on Scale Out. Scale Out brought us Femi. He is the funniest person I know. He can role play like there's no tomorrow. Facts. And he knows like 5 different languages. So,
and
I mean,
he's locked up a $800,000 Morby Method deal.
Morby Method, guys. He locked up a Morby Method. If you don't even know what Morby Method is, tap in and Scale Out and join the team. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so man.
I'll tell you, I have to make an adjustment. I'm not gonna be doing every day like I was doing. That was draining. I'm not gonna lie, but I will be bringing Scale Out back once a week for sure, without a doubt, on a set date. Y'all just gotta bear with me. I'm gonna put that date out there, and I'm gonna be consistent. You know what I'm saying?
Because he doesn't put the date out soon, guys. Message him.
Yeah, for sure.
Dope.
But yeah, if you have any questions, in the chat, let us know. Masha, what's the best way to learn the legal jargon on the seller agreement? Read it, bro.
And literally. What's funny too is like Daryl encourages you, like, just like send it, right? Send it and go through it with them, right? That's the best way you're going to learn, is like, if you just like try and read something, like, it's just like practice, right? Practice makes perfect. So when Daryl had me send the first contract out, it's like, what the hell? You know what I'm saying? Like, what? I remember with Andrew, I was in my apartment and like, I'm just reading through the contract, and guys, I didn't know all the legal jargon of the contract, but you start to realize is these sellers, they'll make it make sense to them. And you can just be, yeah, right? Or you can start to just explain it as you read it. It's going to come to you. So don't be afraid, right? Read it, and over time it will come to you.
So I was taught to always know what the hell you're sending out, right? Like, so I remember first contract I ever sent out when I was working for somebody. I was like, I asked him, I'm like, should I read it? And he's like, Well, I would hope you know what the fuck you're sending out, right? And he's like, read the damn contract. I don't care how many pages it is. Read it. Know what you're sending out. So I'm like, okay, cool. So I read through the contract a couple of times to the fact where I know section 12.7 is section choice of law, where it's you can literally the laws governing the state of the property, right? So I can read that verbatim, and I know for a fact is that number on the contract because I read it so many times, right? And you get used to overcoming those objections, and literally not objections. A lot of times you don't have to go through the whole contract. You can tell the seller, hey, a lot of this is legal jargon. I could either go through the important parts of the things, or you can read line by line, right? It's up to you, right? If you want to read line by line, I'm here for you. Ask me any question you got. Usually when they ask questions, like Nick said, it's common sense, and as they ask the question, the answer magically appears in their head a lot of the times, right? And if it doesn't, we're here to guide them. It's just a lot of it's just common sense. The words are just a little bigger sometimes. So yeah.
Yeah. Alexis asks, closing attorney.
Closing attorney. I don't know what that means. I think she was asking about
On the deal, right?
I think she was asking about the Texas deal. We used the title company, but most title companies, we were just talking about this. Not most of them, but a lot of them, it's tough for them to approve pre-signing the deed in lieu of foreclosure. I get it, right? You just need to find the right attorney to do it. I'm not saying it's impossible. And if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, when you're buying a creative deal, a lot of times the seller's main objection is, well, what happens if you stop paying, right? So a good way that we overcome these objections is we say, well, we can set up our paperwork in a way that, if I were to get abducted by aliens, I miss one payment, you never hear from Daryl again, right? You get a property deeded right back to you because I already pre-signed a deed in lieu of foreclosure. This is why I personally stopped saying this, because a lot of times when you bring it to the title company, they're like, well, what the hell? My attorney would never sign off on this, just because it can get sticky, right? It can go to court. It can be a whole mix up, right? And a lot of attorneys don't approve of that. So you got to find the right attorney to do it, right? So Nick, we're working on one where we need to find the attorney that he can actually do that, right? And I think we found one. So we'll be able to get them in contact with our title company. But you can get it done, right? I'm not saying it's not impossible, but I personally stopped using deed in lieu of foreclosure to overcome that objection, because a lot of times you got to just hope that they forget about it. So she didn't forget about it. She wanted to know. She was pretty savvy.
Yeah.
So she wanted to know. Harvey said,
you want to answer that one? Daryl, are you in Maryland?
Oh, my bad. No, I'm not in Maryland. I'm not in Maryland. I'm in Arizona. My bad.
You're good. It's dope. We can both click it. We can both add the comments here. Yeah.
Facts.
What's up with Harvey?
So Harvey said, in what market did you guys lock up the seller finance deal? Which one, dog?
That's my question. Which one? We locked it up. So the one that we talked about in the beginning and broke it down was Bryan, Texas. And the one that with Kay Ellen was in Tampa, Florida. And the one that you sent us was in sub 2, and that's a Fayetteville, North Carolina. Someone wanted that in the Instagram live, so I'm sure you can sell that bad boy.
Bro.
You should do that one day.
I made a post in sub 2, bro. I said I got a deal in Philly, I got a deal in Virginia, I got a deal in Fayetteville, and I got a deal in New York. They're all creative. Bro, my phone's been blowing up all day. I haven't been able to get back to anybody yet. Like, I'm sorry if you guys are waiting for that, but I'll get it to you, I promise.
One day it'd be dope if you did a live sell.
Sell a deal live?
Yeah, sell a deal live. That'd be fire.
I like it. How'd you get in? Alexa said, how'd you get in touch? Daryl, please check your DM. I got you, bro. Alexa said, how'd you get in touch with the seller if it was on market for 100+ days? Which one? So when we get our leads, when people submit us leads, we have lead managers who call these people until they pick up, right? They call these people until they pick up or until the house is sold. So we literally spam call people. Like we have 3 or 4 lead managers, and they just go down the list of calls that people who haven't answered yet, and they just call. I don't care if 3 people called them that day. We're calling from different numbers anyway, so she's gonna pick up for somebody, right? She ended up picking up for somebody, and we assigned it to Nick. So yeah, I do need a Dispo guy, and I'm in the process of that. I'm in the process of getting that done. Heck yeah.
Let's go, dude.
I love it, bro. I love it.
Yeah. Daryl's finally this is your first stream at 1,000 subs?
It's actually no, we did Wholesale Hard Knocks on Wednesday.
Yeah. Guys, Wholesale Hard Knocks is not on Saturday anymore. It is on Wednesday. What time is it?
Wednesdays, 4:00 Arizona time, 7:00 Eastern time. Every single Wednesday. We had to make the change because I seen it becoming very very distracting. Well, not even distracting. I seen it because I'm doing a lot of traveling over the weekends. Like I'm going, Mike is as well. We're doing a lot of masterminds and just elevating. So a lot of those events happen on the weekends. So we seen it being a problem in the near future that we're gonna have to reschedule a lot. So Wednesday's a new day. And Alexis, yes, quarter in a quarter. That's what we're doing right now. We have Nick, you keep pushing. We have 2 days till this 4th quarter starts, right? And to us, honestly, the 4th quarter already started. We got deals that are going to be closing from day 1 of the quarter. So quarter in a quarter is we got together in Tampa. That's why we say power of proximity. Get in these rooms where people have you thinking bigger, right? We have a challenge to make $250,000 gross. My personal goal is to net $250,000, but $250,000 in these next 3 months, right? That's $83,000 a month, $84,000 a month. So that's the goal, and that's what we're working on. So if you guys have any leads that you guys need called, need closed, send them through. If you guys have any deals that you need buyers for, send them through. I'm buying cash deals as well. So yeah, quarter in a quarter, baby. We're turning it up. Nick, what's up, bro?
We're doing it. Quarter in a quarter, guys. I mean, it's amazing about this stuff, right? Is because there's always, like, after you get a deal closed, it's like, when's the next one, right? Because you just want to start to add these to your conveyor belt, and you start getting paid on weeks where, I'm getting paid this week, I'm getting paid this one, and you start compounding that interest, and then you start buying these things. And yeah, absolutely, guys. I mean, if you don't know, Alexis has everything to do with pre-foreclosure. She knows everything about it and door knocking. So if you guys haven't checked out her YouTube, definitely go check it out. She's got great content on there, and she's got some fire thumbnails as well. Make sure you check those out.
We need to collab, Alexis. I actually need to call you because I'm putting together some heat for what we was actually just talking about. So we're gonna talk.
Fire.
Nick, do you recall what I tell everybody on the team after they get their first deal? It's aligned with what you were just saying.
When's the next one?
I asked them a question. Do you know what's better than getting your first deal? The next one.
The next one.
The next one. You feel me? So, guys, and that's why it's so important. That's why I tell people all the time, right? Start off on somebody's team, right? Because when you trust me, like, I did it, right? Like I was the guy who was cold calling every single day. Okay, boom. I got a lead. Now I got to follow up with this lead. Okay, boom. I followed up with this lead. Oh, shit. I got a contract. Now what do? I need to open up escrow. Okay. Oh, escrow's open. Now I need to find a buyer. Okay. I found a buyer. Now, what was happening this whole time as I'm opening escrow, dealing with escrow, finding a buyer? Who's cold calling? Who's generating leads? Who's following up on these leads? Nobody. Right. So it took me my first 3 deals. I got my first 3 deals in 3 months. It seemed like it was easy, but that was fool's gold, right? It took me the next 7 months to get a deal because I was literally wearing every hat in the business, right? So get on somebody's team.
I mean, I'm the best testimonial to Daryl's business. I'll say it myself right now. Like, I joined, and
I got my first deal like within 3 months, right? They say go hard at something for 90 days. Like I just kept telling myself, hey, I think it was 2 months actually, but I told myself, hey, February is the day I lock up a deal. And then March came around. Hey, Miracle March. You guys know a Miracle March, right?
Yep.
And then finally it came around, right? And once that first thing comes, guys, it starts falling down like an avalanche. It gets crazy.
Yep.
So, you know,
Bro,
I've been able.
My bad. Go ahead.
No, you're good. I mean, I've been able to close so many other deals on top of that just because I'm not wearing the other hats, right? I'm literally wearing this hat, which is headphones that are causing a dent in my head, but I'm on the phones every single day making these calls, and I don't have to worry about, opening escrow. I don't have to worry about finding a buyer. I can continue to do what I do best and hone in on my sales skills.
And I really respect you, Nick, and I want to say this because you're literally watching my business grow, right? And I think you were the first person I brought on as a closer, I believe. Yeah. Was there anybody else?
One of.
Was there anybody
It was
else on the team?
me, John, Sergio.
Oh yeah. I brought it was John first, then you, then Sergio. So you were one of the first ones that I brought on, and you witnessed my business from where it started off. Like it was moving really, really slow. Not really started off, but where I was at the time where you came in, it was moving really freaking slow, right? So it took Nick some months to get paid, right? And you stuck with it, right? And now you're finally seeing now, like, okay, like that avalanche you were talking about now, like it's coming. It's like week after week after week. Yo, we got a deal closing. Yo, we got a deal closing. Yo, we got a deal closing. So that's what we call momentum, right? And this is the time, right, where it's time to like double down, right? Like people don't understand how important momentum is in this business. It's literally everything, right? If you slow momentum down, it's gonna take you long as shit to pick it back up. That's what happened literally with me, Nick. You came back in like to where you came back in at a point where I lost momentum. Right, it's like I had momentum the summer before, but then I lost it that winter, right? And I was regathering, recouping, right? And it took me some months to get back where I need to get to, right? Now you're seeing the avalanche is rolling. It's the snowball effect, right? Now you're gonna see. Now I know what the fuck to do. Now you know what I'm saying? Like before I had momentum, I didn't know what to do. Yeah. Now it's like, okay, I know what to do. Now I'm not gonna play with this momentum, and it's gonna just triple, double, triple, just do backflips, bro. Like
on a different mountain
where everybody needs to double down. When you get that momentum, do not play. Like Alexa says, do not take your foot off the gas. Do not get comfortable. When you have momentum, when you're feeling momentum, it is time to just pick it up. Keep going.
That's it, bro. I mean, I felt it today. It's like a flow state. It's just like this flow state where like, yo, like you're moving. Like I can't describe it any other way, but like it's free flowing and you're moving. Like what we do every single day, like we join a morning meeting, we express gratitude, we talk about what the hell we're going to lock up, right? And what we got working on, what we're going to underwrite. We do sales training and we do what we got to do, and then we start calling together, right? That's culture, and that's what we do every day. And on top of the money, that's going to come down the line is these relationships that, are going to be long lasting forever and that we're going to continue to grow are priceless.
My dog, Fashowski, dropping bombs.
That's it.
Yo, I miss streaming, bro. I'm going to come back. Scale Out's coming back, bro. Nick, I appreciate you for forcing me to get back on here, bro. Appreciate you for all the hard work you put in, dog. You keep crushing it every single day, locking deals up. You're a dog, bro.
Appreciate you too, bro. I'm excited to be out Arizona and just turn up, bro. It's gonna be crazy.
Yes, sir. Let's do it.
Let's go.
Y'all, I appreciate everybody for tuning in. If you have not liked this video yet, make sure you hit that like button on the bottom, subscribe to the channel. Look out for a weekly live. Scale Out is coming back. We're gonna bring the team back. We're gonna show you guys a lot has changed in the business. Like literally, it's a completely different business since the last time I streamed. So stay tuned for that. Make sure you guys subscribe. Hit that link below. Like the video. We out of here, y'all.
Peace. Check my app.